If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Barrett. Tomatoes are one of the most popular plants to grow in a garden, whether a gardener grows 1 or 50, porch, patio, deck, or in-ground raised bed. So there's 3 key elements in order for a successful planting of a tomato. We have to get the tomato started off successfully, otherwise it's not going to do well. So let's go down to soil level here in our raised bed. We've got good enriched compost raised bed mix that we're growing in. If you do not have if you're growing in the ground, you want to have good fertile soil. You also want it to be very loose so the roots can penetrate through the soil and absorb the nutrients in which it needs. Secondly, you want to start out with a very healthy tomato start. This one is leggy. This one is compact. Either one will work, and I'll show you techniques on how to plant both of them. So first we want to dig the hole. Now if you're in the ground, you can use an auger, you can use a post hole digger. A post hole digger is simply a device that you use and you can dig deep with that. You can also use a pro plugger, which is you push down, twist, and it pulls the plug out. In this instance, it's loose because the soil is very, not clay, but the hole is about 6 inches deep. So that will work well if you're going multiple holes and you have a smaller compact tomato like this one here. Got multiple tomatoes in this package. So all we're going to do is we let them dry and simply tease the roots out, and we will plant it like that. Now, at the time of planting, what do we put in the hole? This is the key. There's many different ingredients in which one can put in the hole at the time of planting. Some people will put crushed eggshells. That does not work because the eggshells in a crushed form, it's calcium, which is an element that plants need, but it's in such a large particle form it will not break down and be utilized by the plants during this growing season. So if you choose to grow or to put eggshells in the hole, let them dry out, either in microwave or just naturally, and then pulverize them to a powder in a fertilizer kind of material, very fine. Then you can put whatever amount you want in the hole at the time of planting, and that will be broke down in a timely manner to allow your plants to uptake the calcium. Many people use that for blossom end rot. If you just regularly water, your blossom end rot problems will be minimal to none. So you can do that. You can just use an all-purpose fertilizer, recommended rate on the back of the package, put it in the hole, and then you want to put a little soil on top of that. You don't want to make the roots direct contact with that fertilizer. Even though it is an organic means, is what we're using, it can still burn the plant. We recommend an organic because it's safe for you, your pets, and the environment. So then we just backfill. Notice I planted very deep. The roots are in the pot here, in the container here, but if you look, there's all kinds of little hairs up and down the stem. Those, if contacted with soil, can develop more roots. And a plant with more roots is a plant that can uptake more nutrients, grow larger, produce more produce for you. We'll talk about that one in a minute. So now, at this stage, we can do 2 things. Most people will just walk away, water and walk away. That's not necessarily what you want to do. You want to add whole grain yellow cornmeal around the plant. If you get it on the plant, not a big deal. This is a key element in which we've been utilizing for 7 years now. Whole grain cornmeal has a beneficial bacteria in it called trichoderma. It's a fungi. It's a good bacteria. Early blight in everybody's soil, compost, potting soil, raised bed mix, gets on the leaves of the plant, and then that causes those leaves to die off and progressively work up the plant throughout the growing season. By the end of the season, you have a plant with a lot of stems, no leaves, and fruit hanging off of it. By doing this trick, you will allow your plant to reduce the amount of early blight you get, probably by 80%. We've had plants up to the day of frost be lush and green and no early blight at all because we've utilized this. Now, you only have to apply this once. If you want to go through about halfway through the growing season and apply another handful around the base of your tomato plants, you can do that. You want to get whole grain yellow cornmeal. It can be any brand, just yellow whole grain. Very beneficial. You can water it in, doesn't deactivate the ingredient, that trichoderma. It just helps fight that bad bacteria. And then you can begin to trim the lower 6 to 8 inches of the plant as the plant grows, and that also prevents a lot of splash up. And then you also want to use some type of mulch. Given more than 3 tips, but that's okay. Mulch holds the moisture in the soil. You would put the whole grain cornmeal down first, then the mulch, and that also helps suppress weeds, hold moisture in, and reduce the amount of splash up on your tomato plants. Because 90% of the problems your tomato plant will face is soil splashing up on it. So we've got that taken care of. Now, what if you do have a plant that is leggy? In the tomato world, this is the only plant or vegetable in which you can do this with. If you have a leggy brassica plant, Brussels sprout, something of that nature, kale, this doesn't work. Since it's got all those hairs on it, wherever the soil touches, it's going to produce roots. So we will do the same procedure in which we did with this tomato. Now, based on how you want to plant them, whether you're doing a Florida weave, you're doing cages, you can get them as close as 18 inches apart, 24, or even 48 inches apart if you have a lot of space, so you can get in and service the plants as they need help. So we're going to tease this. I've got 2 in here. This one, it's not worth saving because it's very weak and we're taking the strongest one, but I am going to save it because we might be able to put it somewhere. So you can see the roots. We want to tease the roots there. Now we go about 24 inches there. So what we can do here is we want to snip off all the lower branches. This is not going to hurt the plant at all. It actually will stimulate more growth in the roots and in the upper canopy here. So we'll do about 60, we'll go 70% of it. We don't want to bury the limbs because those can rot underground and cause issues. So this is where we're going to plant it at. So we're going to dig a trench. This is called the trench method. It can be a couple inches deep here. Okay. So we're going to take and bury that. We're going to add our fertilizer at the bottom. And actually, because it's a trench, we can add it all the way across where the roots are going to be contacting the soil. Put a little soil on top of that so they're not direct contact. Then we plant our tomato. Be gentle with it because it is fragile. It will snap if you yank on it. So we're just going to gently tease it and do that. And then we're going to backfill our tomato. Use the yellow whole grain cornmeal. We'll water, mulch, and then you've taken a long tomato and turned it into a short tomato because all of those roots are underground that's going to feed that plant and make it a very healthy, productive plant. So a number of ways in order to successfully plant your tomatoes to get them started off right. Thanks for watching. Join me again next time for more organic gardening and food preparation. I'm Joy Baird, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.